Welcome, Cisco Global Problem Solver. I'm John Bates with Executive Speaking Success, and we are going to break down last year's winning 90-second pitch video. So, this is from Zzapp Malaria. They took first place in 2021. And so, we're going to talk about what they did and what worked. And the intention is to give you some great ideas so that you can do an excellent pitch video and put together an excellent package and win in 2022. So let's go to Zzapp Malaria. Now we have the advantage of seeing a before and after, which is really awesome. And so let's just watch this minute and 30 together. This is the first video. And we worked with Zzapp. They went back, redid it, didn't change a whole lot, but the few things they did made an enormous difference. So I want to show that to you and talk about how you can leverage that for yourself. So here we go.
Facing the worst pandemic in a century, but humanity grouped together to solve it. Hi everyone, my name is Michael from Zzapp Malaria, and I want to talk about the next pandemic we should end, malaria. Malaria kills about 420,000 people every year, mostly in sub-Saharan Africa. That's about a quarter of coronavirus deaths in 2020. Governments around the world spent $110 billion to find a COVID vaccine. You know how much was spent fighting malaria? Less than 3 billion. The world currently fights malaria mostly by distributing mosquito bed nets. These nets are a lot like face masks, uncomfortable, and are only effective if used every day. You know how hard that is. We believe we have the cure, removing the mosquitoes that spread malaria. We've developed a mobile app and a dashboard that helps plan and execute anti-malaria operations. We do this by treating stagnant water sources, killing the mosquito's larvae, and preventing it from reproducing. No mosquitoes, no malaria, no death. Zzapp Malaria uses artificial intelligence to predict where stagnant water bodies are likely to occur and then manage the field workers who treat them. Our app works on simple mobile phones and does not need an active internet connection. Our technology makes it possible to reach every mosquito. We have been working in Ghana, Kenya, and Ethiopia and are just about to launch an ambitious operations to completely eliminate malaria from the island country of Sao Tome and Principe. If we succeed, we'll make history. Please join us on zappmalaria.com to support our quest for a world free of malaria.
Okay, now that was quite good. That was it's great what was said. It's a nice angle. He looks good. Watch this though. Here's the winning video. Just a little bit of production, and this is not a production contest, but a little bit of work here made a huge difference. A couple things to notice. First of all, we've got this great opening. I would call it an opening slide so that when we see this video before it even starts, without wasting any time in the video, we see Zzapp and Malaria. We know what they're up to. And the other thing that Zzapp did that made a big difference is because we all have accents for someone else, I think it's a great idea to put in subtitles on these things if you can, because that way whoever's listening to it will be able to make sure that they understood what you said. And, I know I have an accent probably for you. You have an accent for me. We all have an accent for someone. So getting these things, getting those subtitles in can be really useful. All right, here we go.
We just faced the worst pandemic in a century, but humanity grouped together to solve it. What should we do next? Hello, I'm Michael from Zzapp Malaria, and I want to talk about the world's biggest solvable problem, malaria.
Now, what I like is he didn't say his name until after he said something interesting. I think that's important because that way we are much more likely to remember Michael and Zzapp Malaria than we would have been if that was what he started with. Uh, and I love that he calls this the world's biggest solvable problem. So I think that's really good. And we can see it now because we've got subtitles.
Malaria kills over 420,000 people every year, mostly children under 5. That's about a
Okay, that is terrible. He said it in the first one, but I think it lands much harder with this one because we can also read along just a little bit, not a lot of text, but 420,000 deaths, 95% in sub-Saharan Africa, and mostly children under 5. Now, that's a lot of deaths, so it's a quantitative problem. the fact that it's mostly children under 5 is also a qualitative problem. That no matter how many the number is, that's just a terrible thing. So I think it's much clearer now because they put that into the slide, and we also have the subtitles. So I think that lands harder in this version than it did in the first.
That's about a quarter of COVID deaths in 2020. Governments around the world spent about $110 billion to find a COVID vaccine. You know how much was spent fighting malaria? Less than $3 billion.
Okay, so that's a very big difference, and being able to see those little graphics in there makes an enormous difference.
The world currently fights malaria by distributing mosquito nets. These nets are a lot like face masks, uncomfortable, and are only effective if used every day. You know how hard that is.
I think that's great to relate it to our current experience.
We believe we have a cure, removing the mosquitoes that spread the disease. We've developed a mobile app and a dashboard that helps plan and manage anti-malaria operations. We do this by treating stagnant water, cleaning the mosquito's larvae, and preventing it from reproducing.
Okay, now this is great. We get to see the computer screen, we get to see operations in country in real time. We see what people are doing, what Zzapp is doing here. And that is really important. Show us where you are. The judges really want to know what stage you're in. And if you've got a great, a great initial try at this, great. If you're already out there doing this, make sure we know that. It's important to the judges to know what stage you're in and how far along in development you are.
No mosquitoes, no malaria, no death. Zzapp Malaria uses artificial intelligence to predict where stagnant water bodies are more likely to occur and then manage the field workers who treat them. Technology works on simple mobile phones and does not need an active internet connection. We can find every single mosquito.
Now, that's interesting. It doesn't need an active internet connection because that's going to matter where this is being implemented. Um, and this is a big assertion. We can find every single mosquito. So it makes me want to look at the packet. That's the other thing about this 90-second video is that you can't tell us everything. You can't explain it all in 90 seconds. The thing we need you to tell us is who you are, what's going on, what the problem is, something about your solution, where you are in the process. We just need enough information so that we are super curious and excited to dive into the packet of information.
We have been working in several countries and are just about to launch an ambitious operation to completely eliminate malaria from the country of Sao Tome and Principe.
Now, I love seeing this because we saw the thing in action. We saw people. Now we know, wow, they are in multiple places and they're up to something big. I also like that he says in this version, instead of when we seed, if we succeed, we'll make history. He says when we succeed, we'll make history because that's what he's out to do.
When we succeed, we'll make history. Please join us at zappmalaria.com to support a quest for a world free of malaria.
And a great ending, a call to action. Please join us. And, the Zzapp Malaria website gets in there. So this was a really, really well done 90-second video. And I think you can see from the first one was good, but the second one, just a few minor changes, a new angle, putting in those subtitles, giving us some very few words, but showing those. And then also the clips of seeing people in country actually doing things, seeing the product, seeing what it looks like. That just makes it all vastly more real for us, and it lands it over here. So it's not a production contest. Don't worry about your production values, and you don't have to speak English. This is a global problem solver challenge. I do think that if you've got the ability to do a video, something like this, and give us subtitles and show us your product in action, even if it's still photos in the video, that's going to make a really big difference. And we also have a bunch of videos and trainings at the Cisco Global Problem Solver site. So please go through that. We created those for you. Yes, we want to help you win the Cisco Global Problem Solver Challenge. And we know that for the rest of your life, you're going to be up to big things, doing big things, and we want to empower you for the rest of your life. So that's what those videos are for. They're for the Cisco Global Problem Solver Challenge. They're also for you and your entire life, and they will make a big difference in anything that you do where you're talking about what you're up to. So thank you very much for joining me. This is John Bates with Executive Speaking Success and the Cisco Global Problem Solver Challenge, saying thank you for what you're up to in the world. And I look forward to seeing you in the semifinals.